Two, what up, man? Out here chilling on this little patio with the job. Uh, kind of at the end of this busy, hectic work day. So yeah, in between my cases, I was looking at on social media, and I seen Uncle Shay, is in some type of allegation, sexual assault. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I'm not surprised, not saying that I think, Shannon did anything, but, Shannon just got like $100 million contract, I believe. And so the fact that something like this is coming out at a time like this, I'm not surprised by that. But when I was reading the court filings, the lady, him and the lady that's accusing him, she was saying that they was in a consensual relationship, and throughout the consensual relationship, he was verbally abusive, and at some point he was sexually abusive and sexually assaulted her on many occasions. In my mind, I'm thinking, if he sexually assaulted you the first time, why you go back over there? Why you kept meeting up with a person like that? And so I don't know the mind frame of a sexual assault victim. I don't know, if it's some type of, forgiveness that goes through their mind, or they're like, well, maybe he won't do it again. He said, I'm sorry, but she was saying that it was a brutal sexual assault because, Shannon a big guy, and I'm guessing she's a little woman, or just a woman, period. But I just couldn't wrap my head around that. And then also in the filing, she stated that when he came out, or he didn't come out with it, but when his sex tape was leaked, she found out that, basically he was cheating in their relationship. So they had some type of form of relationship going on. And she thought it was serious, and I guess he didn't. Or it was serious between both of them, and he just stepped out and did his thing. And so then in my mind, I'm thinking, is she upset about finding out that they were an exclusive, or he cheated? And was this get back, or was this a story she just making up to, try to bring him down and profit off of it? So a lot of questions start to come to mind, because unfortunately, this is starting to become common, where men are getting accused of sexual assault. Men of celebrity status are getting accused of sexual assaults, from women, and we don't know if it's true. We don't know if it is. Of course, we have our hunches in regards to some people. The Diddy thing, some of us are like, Well, with Shannon, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But the one thing that really made me question this whole allegation is her lawyer, Tony Buzbee. And so I don't know if y'all know Tony Buzbee, but Tony Buzbee was the lawyer that represented a lot of the females in the Deshaun Watson case. The Deshaun Watson case, which is still kind of perplexing to me. I do understand that there are boundaries in regards to your behavior, especially, keeping your hands to yourself and things of that nature. But the Deshaun Watson case was not a sexual assault. It wasn't rape. It was sexual inappropriateness. He was going and getting massages from women that he would meet on social media. They'll come to the house, or they'll go to some, place or whatnot, and they will agree to do massages. And, and from the massages, it would transpire to other things from what I think, okay? I haven't read the case. That's very different from actual sexual assault. And so, anyway, a lot of these ladies who came and spoke up in regards to Deshaun Watson. I think, a lot of them stories end up being dismissed. Maybe a couple of them stick, but the damage was already had taken place because Deshaun pretty much had to miss a season. His football season, his football career wasn't really the same. He had some injuries, he sustained some injuries that did take was one of the reasons why. But Tony Buzbee led that charge as the attorney on that case. But yeah, so with Tony, like that lawyer, it seemed like he has been like the main lawyer for a lot of these allegations against high-profile celebrity. From what I'm hearing, or just what I've seen so far, black men. I think he's representing a few women on the Diddy case. He tried to take Jay-Z down. Jay-Z countered, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. If that's pending now, Shannon Sharpe. He already did Deshaun Watson, and so it's like it has me thinking, like, man, some of these people in the justice system, they ain't really out for justice, man. Now there are men of power, and just men period, who have done some heinous things, and they need to be locked up for it. And if the courts prove, under, fair justice, and actually go through it and see that, okay, these things happen, then hey, you got to pay the penalty for what you did. You have to pay the penalty for the horrible acts that you've committed. But there are some horrible acts that's being committed by people in the justice system also, for the love of money. Just all for the love of just taking down somebody of power so they can lift their brand up. And it's a sad thing. The Bible talks about the root of evil. The root of evil is the love of money. For the love of money is the root of all evil. It's rooted. The actions that a lot of people take, it is rooted from trying to get as much money as possible. Meaning, I will jeopardize my morals, I would jeopardize my honesty, I would jeopardize anything just to get some bread to come up. And if you got to do all that to get money and jeopardize your integrity, man, that money ain't worth it. That money ain't worth it. I wish somebody would do a research study to see how people outcomes are in regards to their life after they jeopardize their integrity, jeopardize, their morals and things of that nature, just to come up to get some money. And then where does it start for a person to even want to do that? I mean, a lot of times I know people come out of poverty. People have seen some situations where they didn't want to be in, they want their family to be in. They feel like, man, I got to do whatever I got to do to get us out of this situation. But it ain't like that. You ain't got to do whatever you got to do. Everything ain't good for you to do to get you out of a situation, to come up and get some money, especially when what you're doing is tearing another person down or stealing from another person. That ain't no reason to get money. That doesn't justify you having to get money, and that can be on a large scale and a big scale. Because I gotta check myself with that. I ain't never had to go and tear nobody down or break into somebody's house or steal something from somebody, but I have been dishonest in regards to get more money. I have finessed some things to get some more money. I have not said nothing that probably would have tainted, maybe something that I was selling to get some bread. You know what I'm saying? So I had to check myself in regards to that. And also with this Shannon thing, I'm like, man, it's always a woman that's a downfall for a man. It's crazy because, and let me say that again. Let me say that era. A woman can uplift a man, which a lot of women do. But then it's women that these men are dealing with that become their downfall. And it's either sometimes it's through their egos, them abusing it. It's through them dealing with the wrong type of woman, because the woman was never had good intentions for them, and they just, trying to fulfill lustful desires. It's always one of those things that at some point in time, when we get away from what spiritually grounds us, our morals, our ethics, that conscience, our spirits telling us like, nah, this probably ain't the best move, then we start to veer off and we start to make bad decisions. And as a man, I know there's times when the desire of your flesh, whether sexual or power, will get the best of you. It starts off small. And then in the long run leads to a downfall, because of things that we desire. And we might have good intentions going in it, but the person that you're dealing with, they may have their own perspective of what they want or what they expect out of a relationship. And if you don't meet that, and they upset, and they've been watching, peeping, and seeing that you coming up, then they might feel a certain type of way. So it's unfortunate, because there's a lot that go into that. When you put so much time and so much effort into building your brand, building your business, and all of a sudden, a bad decision is taken away from that. But the great thing is, when you're rooted in Christ, God can take those bad decisions and maneuver it for your good. God can take all those bad decisions. The world might turn their back on you. Your fans might turn their back on you. Your people might turn their back on you without even knowing, the final verdict. But God can transform things for our good, because Diddy, Shannon, all these celebrities have been accused of something. They stuff may be a little more heinous, at least it's accusations, but we all done made mess ups. We all done just did some things that we shouldn't have done. If our life was under the microscope and being videoed, we all would probably be accused in some form of fashion. It may not be sexual or something like that, but we all are deserving of being accused of something. And I hate that Uncle Shay got to go through this, and if he did it, then hey, he got to pay the price for it. I don't believe he did it, but that's where grace and mercy comes in. Grace and mercy through God. Like, I look at some of the decisions I made in the past, just in regards to a lot of things, man, and I thank God that I'm, for one, still alive. Secondly, I'm prosperous. I'm not where I want to be. I ain't got 100,000 yet in my account, but I got legs. I got my two arms. I got a brain that's sound. I can go out and do it. I can keep making gradual steps to get there. As long as I don't give up on him and I don't give up on myself, then I'm gonna be able to do it. And I would encourage all y'all, man, don't give up on yourself, don't give up on God. And also don't give up on some of these people who be going through these situations that they're going through in the public eye, because that's not hard to do. They've been in the public eye before, and we've been rewarding them. And so sometimes you got to take the brunt of it. You got to take the negative. But these people are humans just like we are. And though we may not have done some of the things that they've done, they still God's children. And we have done some things, and we ain't in the public eye like them. So we should show a little more grace. We should be a little more merciful, you know. But I don't know. I'm gonna wait till everything play out, and you know, see what it got. You know, what the court say and evidence and all that. But that Tony Buzbee thing, man, nah. I don't know about Tony Buzbee. I'm telling you, it seemed like as soon as somebody come to his office about some type of sexual relationship with somebody, it's like he gonna be there like, well, you sure it's a sexual relationship? You sure that it wasn't something forced? You didn't feel forced to do it? You know, like I wonder how was that briefing in his office like with these females. Like it's I don't know, man. There's a lot of snakes out here. You know, they say when the grass is cut, the snakes will show. But yeah, man, I just want to tap in with y'all for a little bit. All right.